Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode, we're going to be installing and exploring Microsoft Office 4.2 that was very generously donated to me by Matthew, and I want to give a huge thank you to you once again for literally making this video possible. Now, Office 4.2 is obviously a variant of Office 4.0. Really amazing fact, right? And Office 4.0 was significant because it was the last time that Microsoft used the version number of Microsoft Office in the official product name. At least, well, sort of, because you can see here on this package it makes no mention of the version number whatsoever on the front here. It just says Microsoft Office, Office Standard, the most popular family of products for Windows, keeping things really simplistic. However, there are two places on this package where you can tell what the exact version number is. That is on the top here on this sticker where you'll see Office 4.2, and the other place is right here on the left side, this really small piece of text located at the bottom that says, of course, version 4.2. What was even more significant though about Microsoft Office 4.0 is that it was the last major release of Office to support Windows 3X, because with the release of Windows 95 in August of 1995, Microsoft also released Office 95 alongside it, which you had to be running Windows 95 to, run. This would not run on Windows 3.1 or any Windows 3X based operating system because it was a 32-bit application and Windows 3.1 was a 16-bit operating system. Now, you could run this on Windows NT 3.51, but as I'm sure we all know, that is completely separate from Windows 3.1. One of the other things Microsoft did with Office 95 is they made the version number of the Office suite itself and all the applications included exactly the same, 7.0. Now you might be asking yourself, well, how on earth did they jump from 4.0 to 7.0? Why did they skip version 5 and 6? Well, the answer is they kind of didn't, but this was one of the things that could be kind of confusing to people who were purchasing Microsoft Office at this time. The individual Office applications all had separate version numbers, and they were not all 4.0. The only one that was 4.0 was PowerPoint, and that was just by pure coincidence. This was because Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint predate the Microsoft Office suite. They were all sold separately originally, and they weren't bundled together into the Microsoft Office name until the early 1990s. Now, Word was the oldest application out of these three, so the version of Word included with Office 4.0 was actually Word 6.0. And you also had Excel 5.0 and again PowerPoint 4.0, and Microsoft Mail had its own version number as well. So when Microsoft released Office 95 to keep things simple, they just, made everything the same version number and just took the next iteration of Microsoft Word, which would have been 7.0, and just used that version number for all of the applications and the Office suite itself. So yeah, there's a little bit of backstory. Let's go ahead and set Microsoft Office 95 aside and talk a little bit more about this particular version of Office 4.2 that I have here. This version is a little bit unique because, as you can see, it is the academically priced copy. So this was made available to students and faculty at various educational institutions, and I actually know exactly when, where, and for how much this was purchased for. I know this because inside of this package, we have the original receipt, which shows that it was purchased for $111.99 before tax on July 25th, 1994 at 4:27 p.m. Now, the ASUC store, the ASUC store, whatever you want to call it, actually corresponds to the University of California, Berkeley's student store. So that's exactly where this was purchased, and I just find that incredible that not only is the receipt in here, but also that everything on it is still readable. Also included is, of course, our thick user's guide collection here, very standard for versions of Office released around this time. We also have our additional pieces of paper, our license agreement, an ad for Microsoft Access, some Microsoft Mail information, and our registration card, which, as I mentioned in the last video, has actually been used, which is literally the first time I have gotten a copy of Microsoft Office from this era where the registration card has actually been sent in. Most importantly, though, we have our 25 3.5-inch high-density floppy diskettes. We also have these 2 additional floppy diskettes that are for supplemental file conversions. We've got disk 1 and disk 2 right here. So without any further ado, we're going to swap over to the 98 PC, which is currently running appropriately Windows 3.1, to install and explore Microsoft Office 4.2. Let's get right into it. Alright, so here we are on the $5 Windows 98 PC, and the big question of the day is, do all of these floppy diskettes still work? I don't know. We're going to find out today because I've not used a single one of these diskettes yet. So we're going to pop disk number 1 into the floppy disk drive there, and we'll go into the file manager here within Windows 3.1, swap to the A drive, and let's look for setup, which is going to be way over here. So we'll run setup.exe. Getting those floppy disk drive noises, always a great sign. Alright, welcome to the Microsoft Office 4.2 installation program. Alright, setup program has detected this disk set may already have been used to install the product. Okay, so this is your copyright warning. It's letting you know that it, thinks that these diskettes were already used, which they probably were. So we'll install it to the CMS Office directory. And okay, PowerPoint looks like it has its own thing here. So we'll install that CMS Office Power PNT, Microsoft Word, and I assume, yep, Excel. And we're going to go with a complete/custom installation because we want to get everything. We certainly have the space for it on this computer. You can see it just maxes out. It's all 9s down here on the space available on C. Microsoft Excel includes support for people familiar with Lotus 1-2-3. We're going to say no. So if you were somebody coming from Lotus 1-2-3, well, that would be very useful to you. It also says your graphs will be updated automatically to Microsoft Graph 5.0. We're going to say no, we don't have any graphs anyways on the computer already. Get the same thing for WordPerfect here. So if you were coming from WordPerfect to Microsoft Word, they've got help documentation available for you to read. We'll continue. It's going to check for necessary disk space. And there we go. We're off to the races. Here comes the fun part. Let's get our stack of floppy diskettes ready and wait for it to ask for the next diskette. And with that, we have the last diskette inserted into the drive, at least not counting the 2 supplemental file conversions diskettes. So it may ask us for these. It probably will at some point, considering that we checked to install everything, right? But I don't know if that's going to happen now or after this initial process here. I'm going to guess it's happening right after it finishes with this diskette because we're only at 90%. But yeah, so far we've had a 100% success rate with these diskettes. They all worked. And let me not jinx myself with this last one here. Oh, actually, yeah, it went from 90 to 100%. Wow, okay. So that was everything. Needs to restart Windows. Okay, we're going to remove the diskette from the drive. And there we go. Microsoft Office 4.2, it has started. So the first thing it does is it brings up this Microsoft Office cue cards window here, which essentially, as it says right here, are step-by-step instruction little windows that will stay on screen while you're in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or Mail. So I could go here for view cue cards on using and customizing Office Manager, and I can, I can resize this, I can have it on screen. And, if we want to go to the menu here And let's view Microsoft Word help. And so here you go. We can using Word, starting Word, and this right here gives you a how-to on how to double click on an icon. Now, the other major thing of note is up here at the very top right. You see we have this little application launcher. So this allows you to launch Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And you may be wondering, what are these two? Well, this is Find File, and this right here is the program menu, essentially, where you can, like if you were in Microsoft Word, for example, we can just launch Word here. You can see it stays on top of the window. So if you want to easily get back to the program manager, instead of having to minimize the application here, you could just click up here and go to program manager, and then it brings up the program manager. This is also how you can customize the menu here. You can choose what applications you want to appear in it. So if you want Microsoft Mail, for example, you can hit OK, and now we have this new option for Microsoft Mail. And you can see right here, it gives us an error message when we try to launch Microsoft Mail, and it says it can't find it. And you may be wondering, well, why is that? It clearly says on the box it comes with Microsoft Mail. Why didn't it install it from these diskettes? Well, it's not on these diskettes, and it's certainly not on the Microsoft Word for Windows supplemental file conversions diskettes either. This is because you actually have not acquired a copy of Microsoft Mail. You've acquired a license to use it, a workstation license, and it says that on the box as well. And all of that is explained in this little pamphlet here, which tells you that for you to begin using Microsoft Mail, you first of all have to be on a network that uses it, and you would have to contact your system administrator to get everything set up. It also says if your organization wasn't using Microsoft Mail, you could mail in the supplemental coupon that is included in the box, which we don't have, leading me to believe that it was indeed mailed in. But this menu here, this office menu up here, is pretty customizable, so we can go here, and if we want to enable literally everything and make this just go across the entire screen, because, you know, why not? I mean, we can even have a button to turn on the screensaver. So you see we got options for opening the MS-DOS prompt, opening up Task Manager, opening up Control Panel. So this really acts as a launcher for Windows itself, not just Microsoft Office, though that is its main function. Obviously, you see most of these options up here. The first section are all various Microsoft Office components. So we can hit OK, and you can see how this menu just covers the entire title bar to where we can't even see the name of the document up there. So we're going to definitely leave it like this for the rest of the video because I find it pretty hilarious. But yeah, so we can launch Microsoft Paint if we want to. We can launch Notepad. But why would you want to use Notepad when you've got Microsoft Word? And that, my friends, is what we have right here. So we'll restore this window here so we can actually see the title bar here. Microsoft Word is one of those programs that, regardless of what version you've used, you know how to use this. I mean, even if you've used the latest version of Microsoft Word, you can totally sit down and, you know, use this version without any problems. However, there's obviously going to be features that you have in the new versions that you don't have in these older versions here, but the main functionality of this program has not changed since version 1.0. I mean, it's a word processor. What really can change, right? So we can sit down here and, you know, write ourselves a little document here. We'll say, hello world, this is being typed on Microsoft Word 6.0, because again, that is the individual application version number. Oh, it's 6.0A technically. Okay, 6.0A on Windows 3.1 on the $5 Windows 98 PC. Hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so we'll Control S to save that. And we're going to save this to, gosh, let's see. Let's save it to the root of the C drive. And we'll save this as my awesome doc not .sock .doc. Oh, apparently that's not a valid file name. Oh, it's probably too long. Yep, that's exactly what it is. We'll just say my doc.doc. Perfect. So there is our Microsoft Word document. This version does have spell check, so we can launch spell check here. It detects MJD as a misspelling. It's not in the dictionary. So let's change it to Mad. Michael Mad. I'm not mad, but I probably would have been if all these floppy diskettes didn't work out. Though, you know, I would be a little more understanding, certainly, because these things are pretty old. So it's always awesome when all of these floppy diskettes work. Because I have definitely experienced problems before with diskettes not being able to be read by the computer. So we're just going to close out of that. And yeah, we'll save changes to it. And let's go ahead and launch from up here in our glorious Office menu bar, we're going to launch Microsoft Excel. Ooh, check this out. Quick preview introducing Microsoft Excel 5.0. Yeah, let's get started. 7 minutes apparently this will take to go through. Microsoft Excel is a powerful spreadsheet that is easy to use. Take a few minutes now to learn about some basic features and you will be ready to create your own workbooks. All right. So we'll hit next. You can switch between sheets by clicking the sheet tabs at the bottom of the workbook. Wow, I would have never been able to figure that out. Now, of course, it can be funny to sit here and point and laugh at how detailed that some of these tutorials are, and it's like, really? It's got to tell me how to click a button down here? But, you know, keep in mind, I mean, this was 1994, and you had a lot of people that have never used programs like Microsoft Excel before, and having all this stuff explained in such detail could have been really helpful for them, certainly for a novice user who has never sat down at a computer system before. So yeah, that's why these tutorials and guides had to be so detailed. That's why that Microsoft had that, you know, instruction, that little what do they call it, cue card thing at the very beginning, where, you know, it's like, yeah, this can be on screen while you're using the program that you can refer back to and be like, oh, how do I do this? Well, here's how you can do it. Let's make a really basic expenses, if I can spell properly. Expenses for 2021. Definitely don't want to do that. I want to click here. Expenses for 2020. See, I said 2021. 2022 is what I mean. All right, so we've got all of our totally real expenses here mapped out for the year so far. And so we're going to total this up by using equals sum. And we're going to do C3 through C7. And there we go. That is our total expenses for the year. Totally accurate, right? $900,000 in printer ink. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I mean, that is Microsoft Excel. A little brief look at it. We'll go ahead and save it to the root of the C drive again, and let's just call this iExcel at Excel. Oh, that's so good, right? Okay, and yeah, that's too long of a file name. Gosh, I'm so used to I'm so used to, you know, having long file names. That's something that we take advantage of today, but, you know, back before Windows 95, that was not a thing. So there we go. So we can close out of Microsoft Excel here, and that means that the last major component for us to take a look at is, of course, Microsoft PowerPoint. So it wants us to go through the animated quick preview. Oh, I'm totally down for that. Okay. Welcome to Microsoft PowerPoint quick preview. This quick preview will take about 5 minutes to complete. All right, I can deal with that. Let's go through this entire thing. Ooh, check out those fancy animations, guys. Need to create a presentation that really gets your point across? That's so good. Yeah, really, really good choice of graphics here in Microsoft. Okay, so we'll hit next. PowerPoint has everything you need to easily create an effective presentation. You can create color or black and white overheads, all right. On-screen electronic presentations. Oh, check out that. That actually looks, hang on a second. This laptop looks kind of familiar. It's definitely going to be older than the one I have, but I've got a Toshiba laptop here. Check that out. So this right here is a Toshiba Satellite Pro 435 CDS donated by Case. Thank you very much once again, Case. I did a video on this a while ago. And yeah, that kind of looks familiar right there, though this is a much newer laptop here. This runs Windows 98. But still, it's got a similar design language going on, which I think is pretty nice. And it's absolutely a Toshiba. I can faintly see the logo right there. So yeah, on-screen electronic presentations. 35mm slides. Oh, don't you love those? And to support your presentation, you can type your script onto notes pages, print handouts for your audience. Everyone remember PowerPoint handouts in class? Oh man, yeah, those were so much fun. Print your outline. Often the hardest part about creating a presentation is getting started. Of course, that's really with everything, right? The hardest part is getting started. So PowerPoint makes it easy for you. That is exactly my facial expression every time I use Microsoft PowerPoint, and I hope you guys can say the same, because it's so easy. It makes it so, look at that, easy. It flies away, and this is how it's easy. I actually thought this was a real window for a second, but it's just a screenshot of a window. So, okay, you pick the kind of presentation you need to make. So it's got a bit of a, yeah, auto content wizard. So this is, I've not messed around with this before. I wonder if this was even in later versions of PowerPoint. I don't remember this. And I used PowerPoint like 2003 pretty extensively, you know, when I was in school. So Yeah, I don't really remember this at all, so maybe it was removed by that time. Of course, you did have templates. The wizard creates a presentation complete with suggested content. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to check this out. Just replace the suggested text with your own ideas in the outline view of your presentation. Okay, so essentially what you're doing is typing out a Word document, and then it's gonna use that as data to create a presentation. I've never used this before. I would just, you know, go from editing the presentation itself, like from this screen here. So that is new to me. It very well could have been in Office 2003. I just do not remember it. So, okay. Now it looks like, okay, it's going to click new slide. And okay, this is, yeah, I do remember this here. Okay, PowerPoint's rehearsal feature. The thing I always messed around with is adding like multiple timed elements to each slide. And okay, that's cool. So it tells you exactly. I never used this practice feature. And here's what I'm talking about. Transitions. Let's go. So transitions were one of my favorite things to mess around with and kind of add some spice to my presentations. So, you know, you could do all sorts of stuff with that. Now you've turned your ideas into a convincing presentation and you're ready to give it. So there you go. Those beautiful animations. The text sliding in, I always did stuff like that. PowerPoint makes it easy to create presentations and helps you be more effective, and that's the entire tutorial thing. All right, so we're gonna make an awesome presentation here. Did you know you can add buttons to the toolbar? Oh yeah, I definitely know I can. This is just referring to PowerPoint's toolbar, not the Microsoft Office toolbar up here. But okay, so we're going to go through that auto content wizard. Welcome to PowerPoint Wizards. Okay, what are you gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about why Office 4.2 is the best version of Microsoft. We're gonna make this a really unnecessarily long title. Microsoft Office to ever exist in the universe. Okay. What is your name? Michael MJD. Other information you'd like to include? I am a YouTuber. Okay. Because we totally got to have that up on the screen. Okay, select the type of presentation you're going to give. Okay, so it gives you like a layout here on the left side. So recommending a strategy, selling a product, service, or idea. We're going to probably go with that because we're going to sell why Office 4.2 is the best version ever. Training, so yeah, different layouts here. We'll go with the second one. Your presentation is well on its way. Press finish and PowerPoint will create the presentation for you. Well, where's the adding the content though? I guess we hit finish and then it comes up with that. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. So speaking of those cue cards that I mentioned earlier, here they are. And so they stay on screen here and you can, you know, go through, and if you needed help, like working in slide view, you can click that and it tells you how to add a new slide, all that stuff. We're a PowerPoint Pro though, so we're gonna get out of this. We'll just close that there. All right, so there we go, guys. I think that's a really convincing presentation there. So what we're gonna do is go to our slide view here, and that's just to present it. We're gonna go to here, and there we go. So now we're gonna go. Where's the slide view here? Layout? No, we don't want that. Oh, I guess it's okay. So you just scroll through them. Yeah. See, I'm definitely used to having them in that column on the left side. So anyway, we're gonna present our presentation here. It's just so stupid. I mean, it's such an obscenely long title, and just I am a YouTuber at the bottom. Use multiple points if necessary. Everybody needs to buy Office 4.2. So yeah, I mean, that's it. We have no strengths and the key benefits. And next steps, just buy it already. And that's it, guys. That's why you should buy Office 4.2. So yeah, you can change the layout here of each slide. So if you wanted to go maybe to slide, let's see here. Let's go to slide 3 and maybe change this to have 2 columns here. And then we can, you know, type stuff. And that's beautiful. All right. Now, the next thing we can do is go to template. And we can change the template of the entire slide. If we go under here, it's already in the templates folder. So it doesn't really bring up a nice viewer where it's like, oh, look at all these nice templates. but we can just go through here and we just have to select one of these just at random and hope that it's a good one. So let's go to diamonds. Yeah, let's go to diamonds. Okay, so you can see it here. That's good, but it's not like a like a nice full screen kind of, or not full screen, but you know what I'm talking about, how like later versions of Office had it was a more graphical picker where you could easily see what each template was like. So but yeah, again, much older version of Office. Ooh, that looks nice. Oh, I just love these little, like, whatever you want to call them, elements on the on the side there. I think that's a really cool aesthetic. So okay, yeah, there you go, guys. There's our awesome presentation. And yeah, we'll go ahead and save that. Why not? Let's save this masterpiece, and that's what we're gonna call it, masterpiece. And we'll save it to the C drive. Oh, file name is, God, there I go again with the long file names. All right, we'll just call this good. All right, title, subject, by Office, author, me, keywords, LOL, comments, just buy it already. Perfect. All right, and I think those are the major bullet points that I wanted to touch on, guys. That is Microsoft Office 4.2 in all of its glory. I want to give a huge thank you once again to Matthew for your very generous donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you for making this video possible. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more like it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed down below, turn on notifications. You guys know the drill, all that good stuff, right? And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.